Hey, fuckers, what you doing?
I don't know. And I don't know what we're doing. But this is, of course, the Bunny Rabbit's Hole. And anybody out there that's never listened to the Bunny Rabbit's Hole or seen the visual portion of the Bunny Rabbit's Hole, you'll know that each week we pick a central theme. We talk about that theme until something about what we're talking about inspires us to talk about something different, because that might be more interesting in the moment in time that we were at. And we'll talk about that until time permitting or Craig's patience wanes, and then he brings us back to our main topic.
Right. And as Jason says, we pick a topic and we research both for and against, not just what fits our narrative. But we also include our opinions. This is for entertainment. And sometimes our opinions can be, well, fuck it. I say fuck a lot. Jason says fuck a lot. We're offensive. We offend people. If you don't like it, fuck you.
Exactly. And I'm normally, for those that listen to the show all the time, this is the part where I, of course, am Jason, and this is my co-host, Craig, which I forgot to say.
It don't matter.
This is where I normally go, so, Craig, what are we going to talk about today?
And then today, I would say abso-fucking-lutely nothing.
Exactly. So that's going to be the glory of this show here, because Craig called me this morning. Actually, it wasn't even this morning. It was like a couple hours ago, and say, hey, why don't we just wing a podcast tonight about something we've done no research? We're just going to tell stories, we're going to ramble, and we're going to talk, and this is going to be the Bunny Rabbit's Hole episode.
Right. I may even just look up random news stories. I refuse to talk about politics, though.
None.
No.
Actually, okay, here we go. Jump off. So I used to work with a guy that listened to our podcast the first 20, 25 episodes, religious, and then he ended up moving away. I ran into his mom, and she's like, so I have to ask you, this is personal. I'm like, okay, what is it? She's if I was to send you a friend request on Facebook, would we be friends? Because we don't have the same political views. I'm like, no, we can be friends. I don't give a shit about that. And she's like, well, I did listen to one of your podcasts, and I was like, wow. So those that listened to our first few episodes, we were, let's say, not kind to the GOP.
Or the, let's call them the COP. That would be the Catholic.
Yes.
Or basically, Christianity.
We really threw our opinions out there on our sleeve for a bunch of stuff right off the bat. We tapered some of those opinions back, because not that we don't have those opinions or our opinions have changed and we want to try to cater to our audience. We just felt like when we talk about politics, it dates the show.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this 3, 4, 5 years down the road, when there's another president, if there's another president, later on down the road, some of the shit that it's not relevant anymore. So,
right.
And you know what? Nothing makes enemies faster than bitching about politics. You can bitch about religion all you want, because fuck religion. I'm not a fan of religion. I don't like I don't care that people have faith about things. I think that's awesome, because I have faith in science. And there's things about that I can't explain. And there's things like quirks that can be in two places at once that I don't fucking understand, but they tell me it's true, so I believe it. And they believe that there's a deity out there and there's an afterlife. And if they do certain things and then they alienate certain people, that they're going to go to this special little place or a special little planet, that's cool. But I'm still going to fuck with religion, because religion has actually they've slammed enough people throughout the years.
Well, let's be realistic. If you want to be corrupt, join a religion.
It's true. Scientology is a perfect example of that.
Catholicism.
And, well, yeah, I was going to leave the Catholic Church out of it this time. However, you can't.
No, you can't, because it's like, oh, look, a little boy. I guess I have to go to a different town now and not go to jail for being a pedophile.
Yeah. So, all right, so I'm going to bring up, there was an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This was earlier, where the McPoyle brothers, I think this is the first time you meet the McPoyle brothers in the show. Well, they accused their gym teacher from middle school of molesting them, and they were suing the district, the
Right.
school district, for millions of dollars. Well, Mac was pissed about this, not because these kids that he went to school that were molested. He felt he was a cute kid, and that teacher had no interest in him.
Yeah, I
So he
remember
ends
that.
up going to the teacher's house in like short gym shorts, and it turns out to be Mr. Blandings from Saved by the Bell. It's
Yeah.
fucking twisted, but it's funny as shit. And I have that feeling sometimes. I think about that episode anymore when I hear about all the shit that goes on with the Catholic Church. It's like, because I was an altar boy. I was, I was a cute kid.
I was, and I was always ugly.
But I was never molested by any of the priests I had. Actually, a lot of them were actually pretty cool guys. And one that we had probably set the Michigan state record in DUIs, but
I'm sorry. Go ahead, continue. I didn't mean.
but
I'm sorry. I pulled up the news and just I'll go into this after you finish your story.
oh, that's pretty much the end of it. It's like, that I just look at it, it's like, well, I see all these people getting money. I was a cute kid. But then again, I have to tell a real quick story. When I was 11 or 12, something like that, I was an altar boy, and it's like 103 degrees outside, and we're in this church, and there's no air conditioning. We had the windows open, but they're running fans. So all it's really doing is just turning this fucking place into a convection oven, just recirculating hot air in this thing. Well, I'm wearing a fucking wool robe on a 103 degree day with, full clothes on underneath it, shirt, pants, shoes, all the, and I'm standing there, we're doing the whole thing, and I fucking threw up right in front of the entire congregation, in front of everybody, and I went running down the middle of the aisle towards it. The only place I thought was there was a bathroom where we put our robes on. I went running back there, and I'm puking into my hands as I'm running down the aisle. Just, and I get to the door, and the door's shut, and I've got a whole handful of puke, and I'm like, what do I do? Drop it. So I could open up the door handle so I could go into the bathroom and finish puking. What I should have done was continued straight from the aisle and went right outside.
Yep.
But I didn't do that. And then unfortunately, my father was one of the people that went up there and was cleaning while everybody else was finishing mass. And now all these people are up there in this 103 degree heat convection oven smelling my bile.
Oh. Funny story to tag on to yours. So, Sacred Heart Church.
Oh yeah, that's why I was baptized in that church.
Yep. When my dad was dating my ex stepmom, we were forced to go to church at Sacred Heart. Well, my stepsister, my brother, and I ate a lot of chocolate before we went to church. A lot of fucking chocolate. I'm sitting in church, and again, convection oven, summertime. Because that church was not air conditioned then, and that chocolate just starts rumbling in the tummy, and rumbling in the tummy. And then I look over to my stepmom. I'm like, "Where's the bathroom?" And she's like, "Shh." I'm like, "No, where's the bathroom?" Shh. I'm like, "Fuck you!" And I get up, and as I'm going down the hall, I'm like, then same thing. My hands. I get up there, and there's somebody standing out there. I'm like, that I'm assuming worked there. I don't know how you work at a church, but they work there. I'm like, "Where's the bathroom?" They're like, right over there. Thanks, asshole.
Thanks for nothing.
Yep. So it's good to hear I'm not the only person that's puked in church.
Nice. That's all. I didn't know that your story either, so that is awesome.
Anyways.
So that just kind of piggybacks the anti-religion thing that we started with, that we both have expelled our opinions.
Yes. I purged my demons that day.
Yes.
So I just ran across this headline, and just the headline alone could probably get us talking for an hour.
Oh, I'm ready.
Weinstein told women he had a vasectomy before allegedly raping her, she testifies.
And that makes it okay to rape her?
Apparently. Well, I couldn't get you pregnant.
Let's take I've been doing this shit wrong because I have a vasectomy and I'm not raping anybody.
Apparently you could have.
I could have. I missed that window.
Right. I'm not going to click the story and open it because there's a certain level of stupid that I can tolerate today, and that goes beyond it.
Yeah. And
that's why I can't talk about politics.
It's one of those things too that you just don't want certain things in your search engine history. Because sorry, I was burping when I was trying to say out search engine history. But because then next thing you know, you're getting different ads based upon that story, and you don't want that.
Right. Okay, then there's this headline. And this guy, I mean, he's got the best face tattoos. I just got to put that out there.
Okay.
I'm being sarcastic. Man charged with killing 5 of his infant children over 30 years.
Over 30 years?
Over 30 years.
So nobody really investigated the first 2, 3, 4?
Apparently not.
Because I'm guessing that they weren't infants for 30 years, so
right.
I'm guessing that he killed one, had another one, killed one, had another one, killed.
It makes you wonder if he has any other kids that are still alive.
Right?
I'm clicking. I'm going to find out. Inquiring minds want to know. Exactly. I want to know.
Remember those commercials for the National Enquirer? Those were awesome.
Yeah, they were. It's where the Men in Black got all their info from.
Right? I miss the World Weekly News.
Yeah.
Because I miss Batboy updates and Satan being sighted in the clouds over Iraq.
Right. All right. I will read this article. Are you ready?
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. This just in. A California man has been charged in the serial homicides of 5 of his infant children. Paul Allen Perez, 57, was arrested in connection with a 2007 cold case involving the death of a child, according to the Yolo County, you only live once, County Sheriff's Department. He's been charged with 5 counts of felony murder. According to the Sheriff's Department and coroner, the deceased infant was discovered by fishermen on March 29, 2007, in a waterway just east of the city of Woodland. The infant was found in a sealed, weighted container. Well, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
In my 40 years in law enforcement, I cannot think of a case more disturbing than this one, said Yolo County Sheriff Tom Lopez. They don't have the same last name, my bad. Case remained cold until October 2019 when DNA comparison technology identified the infant as Nico Lee Perez, born on November 8, 1996, according to the Sheriff's Department. Sadly, we learned that Nico is not an only child, said Lopez. We also tragically learned that 4 of his siblings suffered his same fate. Investigators have identified the 4 additional infant victims, all of whom were less than 6 months old when they died. Cato Allen Perez was born in 1992. Mika Alina Perez was born in 1995. Nico Lee Perez, born in 1997, and Cato Crow Perez, born in 2001. All are believed to have been murdered as infants, and the remains of 3 have not yet been located, according to Lopez. At the time of his arrest, Perez was serving time in Kern Valley State Prison for auto theft and felony evading a police officer, according to Wendy Wilcox. Who cares where she's from? He was due to be released Monday. DNA breakthrough. The break in the case began in 2018 when the stupid yellow plate people formed a cold case task force. The science and power of DNA has shown that the monsters and killers cannot hide forever any longer unless they become president. Perez was arraigned Tuesday. He is being held in Yolo County Jail and scheduled to appear in court on Friday, according to the court's website. Perez, public defender, who gives a fuck, told CNN in a statement there are a lot of unknowns and unanswered questions in the case. Okay, she's a public defender, so she doesn't have any fucking clue what she's doing. She's just getting paid. Thus far, it appears the DNA evidence has only been successful in identifying Paul Perez as the biological father of 1 child, nothing more. We are keenly interested in the role the mother played in this case, as well as the actual evidence linking Mr. Perez to alleged crime. Most said, if convicted, Perez could face the death penalty or life in prison. So let's blame the mom.
that should have been line number 2. Where's the mom?
Right. Yeah. So
Like,
that's
he's charged. She's being investigated.
right. Oh,
Wow. I was all the way through that. I'm waiting for the mom. The last 3 lines of the story that they finally talked about the mom.
yeah,
I know more about the public defender than I know about the mother.
right.
Is she the mother of all the kids? All 5 of them?
Yeah, I guess.
Then lock that bitch up too.
Right, because she had to know about
You don't just go, I had a baby.
it. Yep.
Where'd it go?
Shit,
Damn
every
it,
time I
Happy,
have a
I want
kid, they
another
disappear.
Goddamn fairies are coming stealing the kids in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Wow. That
Yeah. That's
I'd
right
like
up
to say
there.
that our world is going even bigger to shit, but now it's not any worse than it ever has been. Now we just have more media to cover it.
Right, and more access to it.
Exactly.
Like, okay. So you've heard about the coronavirus, right?
Yes.
When are we going to have the
I like the coronavirus.
Right. I was going to say, when are we going to have the Heineken virus? Maybe a little Labatt virus.
Right.
Apparently there was
I got a case of the Budweisers.
Right. There was 5 suspected cases in Michigan. All 5 of them were tested. 4 came up negative, and they're still waiting. The results on the 5th one are still pending.
Oh.
And it all stemmed from somebody in Ohio that had gone to China and came back.
It's all fucking Ohio. It's always their fault.
Oh, they fucking suck.
Yeah, it's the worst state ever.
Yep. Try driving through that shit.
I was just going to say the driving across that fucking state is horrible.
Yeah, if you've never been to Ohio, I challenge you to drive straight across the fucking state. Not just kitty corner through part of it. Go through the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
That part of your life you'll never fucking get back.
No.
And it should only be like a 4-hour trip. It's like 15.
It's soul sucking.
Yeah. Everything is flat. There is nothing. There's no scenery. There's nothing. It sucks.
Yeah. And, you know, at least if you get into flat states, like, say, like South Dakota,
yeah,
you get some billboards that are interesting. You get some roadside attractions that are interesting, like the Mitchell Corn Palace and shit, and Wall Drug. There's nothing in Ohio, especially if you're on that fucking turnpike.
I will say that Cincinnati, if you're going down 75 going south, and you go through Cincinnati, right there at the border of Kentucky, they have some really cool Gothic style structures and buildings that are cool. Other than that, there's nothing.
Cedar Point's pretty cool.
Nah, I'm not big into roller coasters and shit, so.
Okay. But yeah, if you like roller coasters, check out Cedar Point's in Sandusky, Ohio, which coincidentally is the world headquarters of the Callahan brake pad company from Tommy Boy.
Oh, yeah.
That is also Sandusky, Ohio.
Right. So
the other day, I just pretty much said, fuck it, I give up. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm buying a houseboat. I'm going to sell turquoise jewelry and oranges under the overpass. That's if you want to find me, that's where I'll be.
Nothing wrong with that.
I had like an army of people that like, oh, fuck it, I'm with you.
Right.
It's like, well, no, this is supposed to be a me thing.
So what led to your fucking moment, Jason?
Oh, you know, it's just, I used to be, well, when I was young, I was very impatient. You know, you grew up with me. Right. But then as I got older, I gained a lot more patience. I changed my ways. I stopped letting things get to me. But in just the last 6 months, stupidity is just beating me down. Not my stupidity. I mean, I'm dumb in certain ways, but I'm smart in other ways. But just people that don't think for themselves, people that are just spew bullshit out their mouths without thinking about what it really meant, not fact checking anything, not understanding simple directions, you know, just dumb shit, you know?
Yeah. Yep. I can completely relate to that. As you know, as a side job. I work in a liquor store.
Yeah.
Well,
So Craig is actually a living version of Dante from Clerks.
right.
But he's got a lot of Randall in him too.
Right. So December 20th, the Pumpkin King signed a bill to keep the government open.
Yes.
Within that bill was a provision that raised the legal age of buying tobacco to 21. Which it's almost February, so we're over a month of this.
Right.
I still have people coming in going, when did that happen? A month ago? Where have you been, under a fucking rock?
Right.
And I mean, this girl comes in, she's like, I'm like, you got your ID? She's like, well, no. I'm like, date of birth, real quick. I stump a lot of them this way. Because they can't do the math that fast.
Right.
So she goes, March 30th, 1999. I'm like, okay, well then I'll see you on March 30th. And she's like, what? I'm like, you're not 21.
That makes you.
She's like, you have to be 21? I'm like, yeah. She's like, since when? I'm like, December 20th. She's like, where have I been? Good question. I don't know either.
Obviously, you weren't smoking.
Right. And
you're not buying them from here.
Right. The people that come in and want to argue and fight with me about this. The guy's like, I'm like, you got your ID? No. Okay, well, then I can't sell to you. Dude, I'm 21. It's really easy. All you have to do is prove it.
Right.
And you can do that with an ID.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny about being carded too, because you go through this whole thing when you first, you want to be 21 really bad so you can buy for yourself. You don't have to go find somebody to buy for you. And then that first time that you get to buy, you're almost scared to use it, but you're exhilarated. It's like, ask me, just fucking ask me, bitch, look at me, ask for, my first time she didn't even ask.
Right.
She carded my older brother and my older friend, but she didn't card me. My brother got mad. He's 3 years older than me. It was on my 21st birthday.
Right.
So he got pissed at me, and I was like, cool. But then you go through this thing where after the first couple of years of doing it, you start getting annoyed. It's the law. And it's simple to do. You just flip it out, show, and it's not that big a deal. But then after a while, it's like they don't card you for a bit. And then it becomes a novelty. It's like, oh, cool, she carded me. Oh, yeah, I remember doing this. This is back to this. I remember that. That's cool. Here, you see how old I am? And then now it's like they ask you get mad again. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? This is a joke, right? You just want to know my name. That's it. That's all you want to know. Well, but it's this whole thing. It's like pretty much everybody who still drinks after the age of 40,
right,
has gone through this whole cycle.
Right, and the thing is, this is what kills me. So these kids come in and try to play this shit, and I never bite on it, and I to the point now where this one guy who I know is under 21 comes in. I see him walk in the door. He's getting ready to come to the counter. He sees me, he turns, walks down, grabs a juice, comes back up, buys a juice, doesn't even ask anymore. Because this dumb motherfucker didn't have his ID. I said, okay, date of birth. He was like, something, 2000. I said, well, I'll see you in a couple of years.
See you in something, 2000.
Right. I'm like, dude, you're not 21. He's like, I'm like, you gotta be 21. Like, this is bullshit. I said, go talk to the Pumpkin King about it. I didn't do a fucking thing about it. He said, if I could make the fucking laws, do you think I'd be working here?
Right. Well, so I'm gonna get on a high horse for a second. Not really a political rant, but now, and I feel this is the same way about alcohol. It's like, so growing up, we could go over to Windsor and we could drink at 18. We used to take that road trip a lot. We zip over. Back then, all you needed was a driver's license or an ID, and you could fly across the border. It was not that big a deal. Now getting across the border is a little bit harder. But then Canada did something. It's like, you know what? we still have a lot of high schoolers that are 18. We're going to move our drinking age up so that the high schooler will knock down the teenage drinking problem in high school. We're going to move it to 19.
Right.
So they went nationwide. Their drinking age went from 18 to 19. Here in the United States, it's 21.
Right.
And I'm going to say the argument that most people say is the fact that at 18, and your son joined even earlier, they can join the military. They're considered an adult. They can be tried as in criminal court. They're on their own. I can no longer vouch for my son at the medical clinic. They won't give me when he broke his ankle. They wouldn't tell me anything because he's 18.
Right.
All the questions and everything went to him. He had to answer.
Right.
But he still couldn't drink for another 2 years.
Right.
There's this big hypocrisy on all this bullshit. And to be honest, going back to the Catholicism thing, if you put it in a religious ceremony and call it the blood of Christ, you can give wine to children. And that's what they've been doing. I was drinking wine since I was like 9 years old.
Right.
In church. Just a sip, but still.
Yeah.
There's so much hypocrisy and bullshit when it comes to those little laws. It's like if they're old enough to be incarcerated or held accountable for the crimes and the decisions that they make as an adult, then let them do all the things that are, what's cool about being an adult.
Right. Well, and
there's more things that are cool than just drinking and smoking and porn, but.
Right. Well, and like this guy comes in and I card him, and he was old enough, and we were talking about it, and he's like, I figure if they got a beard, then they're at least 21. I'm like,
nope.
I said both me and my son had a full beard our freshman year of high school. He's like, oh, really? Yeah. And my son has been buying alcohol since he was 18 because of that full beard.
No. When I was like 15, a friend of mine was like that. He was shaving at the end of his 8th grade year, full beard by freshman year. So like when we were like 15, we weren't even 16, we weren't even old enough to drive yet. But he and I were going to used car lots and test driving cars.
Okay.
Just because he looked so old.
Right.
Why the fuck would they allow me to go in this whole scenario? Never made any sense to either one of us, but they never questioned it.
Right.
Here we are driving brand new pickup truck, or not new, but newer pickup trucks and stuff. And neither one of us had a driver's license.
Right.
So
separate our next subject. What are your thoughts on the whole Kobe Bryant thing?
It's pretty tragic, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It sucks that he was still one of the NBA's all-time greatest players ever. I mean, and I heard a great analogy that Kobe's career was overshadowed because it began at the end of Michael Jordan's career, and it ended at the beginning of LeBron's career. So you kind of forget that Kobe was in that window. But the fact that a whole bunch of young children were killed, their parents, like the one family lost the mom, the dad, and the sister, and there's a brother that's left behind. Any wreck like this is a tragedy, and it sucks that Kobe and his daughter are overshadowing the other deaths there, but we get it.
Right.
He was a polarizing figure.
So I am going to bring up what will be somewhat a very controversial opinion.
Okay.
Now, in no means am I saying, hey, these people deserve to die. No, because none of them deserve to die. I didn't want any of them to die, especially the children and stuff like that. And like you talked about, his death overshadowed them. But I also am a strong believer in karma. Kobe was a great player. Why was he a great player? Because he was allowed to beat the fuck out of everybody else on the court.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody ever watched him play, but that man threw more elbows than they do in the WWE.
Right.
And then, you go on to the women that accuse him of sexual assault.
The anal rape.
There wasn't just one.
Yeah.
It was several. I mean, yes, remember him for the good things, but let's remember everything.
Exactly. There's a man's legacy, and you have to take in everything in a person's legacy, the good and the bad. As much as I will say that Bill Clinton was a great president, Bill Clinton was a shitty husband.
Yeah.
So, was he flawed? Absolutely. Was he a shady business guy? More than likely. But it was neat to see, though, in this chapter of Kobe's life, he was starting to become, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that his daughter was really into basketball and she wanted to play in the WNBA. And he started to become a real big champion of the women's game, which was cool because that was bringing a lot more light to women's athletics. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I've watched the WNBA games, and it's okay. Fundamentals, I get it. It's kind of boring.
Kind of like watching paint dry.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that every one of those women could beat me on the basketball court, and probably could beat me at my best on the basketball court. But I'm sorry, their game it's slow. It's I like watching. I don't even really like watching the men's game because it's not really basketball anymore. It's all isolation. It's boring. It's isolation and backup 3-pointers. It's just not a fun game. But the fact that he was using his status as one of the NBA greats to pump the women's side of the game, I thought was a good thing. He was becoming an ambassador of their product more than he was the men's, because the men's was good. They're solid. The NBA is not going anywhere.
Right. Well, and yes, I said some negative things about Kobe, but I mean, there's good things too, and I will balance it out. Like, I don't know him personally. I don't know how he was, but every source says about how he was such a great father.
Mm-hmm.
And he was always there for his kids and stuff like that, and that says a lot to me. I mean, yes, I am sad that he passed. I don't want to see anybody die.
No.
But the problem when these stars and people like that die is it's all about them. He went down in a plane crash. How many other people died in that crash?
8 others. There's
8?
9 total.
9 total. So there's 7 other people they're not talking about because they're just talking about him and his daughter.
Yeah.
And like you said, overshadowed that. I mean, let's include everything. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's a big name. That's going to be the top headline, but let's go deeper into everything,
And I thought it was ghoulish, though. Within an hour, people were trying to sell their Kobe memorabilia.
That's just the American way.
People were putting, it's like, I've got this rare pair of Kobe shoes, $400. It was like, come on, man.
Well,
and then Nike actually did something good where they pulled down. They originally pulled down all the Kobe stuff, but then they limited. They brought it back up, but they limited what you could actually purchase to keep people from reselling.
Right.
Hey, you settle down.
Yeah. But I mean, they learned that from our government. Hey, let's profit off other people's misery.
Yeah.
So here's a neat one for you. A really short article. Sheriff, man stirs the pot by lighting joint in court. This happened in Lebanon, Tennessee. The rapper Afro Man famously sang about how getting high on marijuana prevented him from going to court. That was a great song. A Tennessee man decided to combine the two when he lit a marijuana cigarette in the courtroom, authorities said. Spencer Allen Boston, 20, was arrested Monday and charged with disorderly conduct and simple possession after sparking up in the courtroom, news outlet reported. Who cares about who it was? Monday on a simple drug possession charge. Boston approached the bench to discuss his sentence, but instead expressed his views on legalizing marijuana. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a marijuana cigarette. Why they say that, marijuana cigarette?
I don't. That drives me nuts.
They're not cigarettes. It's completely different. This is stupid. Anyways, dude pulls out a joint.
Yeah,
He
just
lights
a joint.
He lights it. He smoked it and was immediately taken into custody. The sheriff's office said the courtroom crowd chuckled. It's unclear whether he lit up a joint or a blunt. Oh, Jesus Christ. But Brian said the defendant's marijuana did have a strong odor. If you can find some marijuana that does not have a strong odor, I'd like to know about it.
Here's some sticky icky.
Yep. Yeah, that was a neat little, because Tennessee, the whole backwoods state that it is. I have relatives there, and I've spent a lot of time there, so I can say that.
Unfortunately, I've got some family in there in Tennessee's illegitimate cousin neighbor, Kentucky, right. Which is that's a fucking shithole.
Oh shit! They found a 4,309-foot long tunnel in San Diego. It's the longest ever found along the border.
Oh, did the wall stop? Did the wall stop that?
No, because they didn't put it underground.
Okay, that's it for politics today.
Yeah,
for me.
Well, wait. They did have the wall up, and it almost stopped these one people, but they hopped in a boat and just kind of drove around it.
They went through the border crossing.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to find some interesting headlines that we can talk about without actually reading the fucking story, because why?
It's a lot more fun when you just read the headline and we make up the story.
Yep. I just want to find some that don't have fucking Trump in them.
Here's one for you, and I'm only just going to read you the headline. Did Tolkien write The Lord of the Rings because he was avoiding his academic work?
Possibly. What do you think?
Oh, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
But he was, he was a linguist and doing everything else other than what he wanted to do. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna create my own languages for Elvish and Dwarf and
right. All right. Here's one that will lead to a bunch of speculation. Just the headline. Leaked reports show United Nations suffered hack.
Wait. Leaked report said the United Nations was hacked.
Yes.
So somebody leaked. So there was a vulnerability to show that they have a vulnerability. So that's two vulnerabilities.
Well, actually, I thought maybe because it said the United Nations suffered hack. I'm like, what if it was just a whooping cough?
Right. There you go. It could be that too. Oh no, it's the contravirus.
Yeah. No.
Chinese people brought it over.
It's the Bush Light virus. Okay, no more fucking politics. Can we have some news that is not political? Oh, Australian scientists grow a copy of the coronavirus in lab. Why? You got to
wait a minute. This is a virus that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know really what it was, and now if they can grow it they can artificially recreate it in a lab. Shouldn't they already have an antidote?
Okay, hold on though. The source is Fox News.
Oh yeah, they didn't.
Yeah.
So that means that they swabbed some guy's cheek that had it and put it in a petri dish, and then they took that petri dish and put it into another petri dish, and now they recreated it.
Right. Let's see. China's accusing us of something. That's politics.
Isn't it shitty though that sources like TMZ are actually more credible than our network news?
Yeah, it's sad. It really is sad. Oh, no, I'm not clicking on opinion because that's going to be all politics. Let's go to crime.
Crime. I like crime.
Because the rest is all Like, I don't know why you have a section called politics, because everything you post is fucking politics. Ooh, a Georgia man was executed for the 1997 killings of 2 people.
Nice.
Okay, I am not clicking on this article, but I want to go into this. Okay, so 1997 was 23 years ago, correct?
Yes.
So if he killed 2 people in 1997, I'm assuming he's been in jail or prison since then.
Probably.
So 23 years. So let's say he was 20 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We supported this motherfucker with our tax money for 23 years just for them to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, I'm not for the death penalty, but if you're going to have it, why are we keeping these people around for that long?
Exactly. So here's one that I think is kind of weird. So Anders Breivik is a man from Sweden or Norway, that did a Oklahoma City style bombing. He blew up a state building and then dressed up like a cop and jumped on a ferry that went over to an island where they had a children's camp and just started plugging people off with an assault rifle. He ended up killing 68 or 69 people that day.
Wow.
Okay, 68 or 69 people in one single day. He's arrested, tried. Within weeks, the man started serving his sentence of 20 years.
Just 20 years, that's it?
Yep, that's the maximum sentence you can get in Norway. No matter what crime, 20 years. So because look at if you've watched Lords of Chaos, which is the movie about the mayhem, the Norwegian black metal scene.
Okay.
It's got Rory Culkin. It's a really good movie, but there's a murder. There's 2 murders. There's a couple murders in the movie, but 2 of the murders that they really focus in on in the movie, both of those real people are free.
Mm.
They've served their 20 years and they're done. They're out. Now there were 2 different people in Colombia that were accused of murdering in excess of 130 children. That's what they're convicted of. Both of them are free. The one did 12 years in prison, 14 years in a mental hospital, and he got to walk out the door. And guess what? They don't know where either one of them are.
Were they Republicans?
So it's funny that we can lock this person up for 23 years and then execute him. And in all a lot of these other countries, 3 years ago, this guy would have been free.
Right.
So and then say, like Iraq, when they had the trial of Saddam Hussein, it's like they tried him, they convicted him. A week later, he had his appeal. They basically said, shut up. And then they hung him. 3 weeks, the man was dead.
I have to click on this article because I actually used to live a couple blocks from where this happened.
Oh.
Arrest made in December, Muskegon Heights homicide. Now, I lived in Muskegon, close to the Heights. 20-year-old man, the police arrested a 21-year-old man Wednesday for homicide that happened in December of 2019. Marcel Robertson shot and killed Gary Phillips near 6th Street and Hackley Avenue on December 2nd. I believe I probably delivered pizza to that area. At the time of the shooting, the Muskegon Heights police determined it was not random. The victim was targeted. They arrested him Wednesday during a traffic stop after a lengthy investigation and surveillance of him. He's been held in Muskegon County Jail and is charged with open murder for shooting the other dude. And yeah, when I lived in Muskegon, I lived like a mile from Muskegon Heights.
Oh, really?
And I could hear gunshots from my house on a regular basis. There was always fires, people setting each other's houses on fire in Muskegon Heights.
What?
Yeah, it is a fucked up place, man.
You wouldn't, when I think of Muskegon, I think of the lake. I don't think of, I don't think of crime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, you got Muskegon, which is okay. Then you have Northern Muskegon, which is posh. You have Norton Shores, which is where the malls and shit are.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Muskegon Heights, which is all ghetto.
Mm.
And so it's then you go on to like Grand Haven and all that other shit.
Okay.
And Fruitport and Oh.
Okay, here's one for you.
Okay.
This is Dumb Criminal of the Week. This actually comes from my neck of the woods, and this is not far from where my brother lives out here in Oregon. So police said would-be thief was captured on video trying to steal a bike outside of the Oregon police station, then captured by the police officer a few seconds later. Security footage from the police station in Gladstone, Oregon shows a male suspect attempting to take a bike from a rack outside of the building on December 27th, shortly after 6 p.m. in the evening. In the video, a masked and hooded suspect can be seen attempting to free a bike from a rack outside of the police station using a pair of large bolt cutters. The rack is directly below or beside a window stamped with the words Gladstone Police around the corner from the entrance to the station in full view of an outdoor security camera. A uniformed police officer walks out of the station and approaches the suspect less than 30 seconds into the video, startling the would-be thief. The officer points a taser at the suspect's chest, prompting him to sit down with his hands on his head. It's dumb, said Sergeant Carl Bell of the Gladstone Police Department told ABC News on Tuesday. I have not actually seen something that blatant because the officers were inside watching the video camera. Adam Valley 26 was charged with theft, criminal mischief, and a felon in possession of weapons.
So let's put ourselves in those cops' shoes. Sitting here, how long would you watch it before you finally went out and arrested him? Because it would be entertaining as fuck.
Yeah.
Because somebody that dumb to do it outside the police station, and I don't care where you go anymore in our country, you're being videoed.
Oh, definitely.
You're on some sort of camera somewhere. So you go and you're outside there. So as a cop, I would just be sitting here and going, okay, so this guy is this dumb to do it. They probably watched him for a good 20 minutes before they went out there because they were laughing their asses off. And this guy was probably too stupid to know how to use the bolt cutters.
Right. And the thing was, if they're sitting there watching it, I'm imagining like all the cops are like, look, come here, check this out. So they all start watching it, and then the one officer, the one that ends up going out there, walks by and goes, "Oh fuck, that's my bike."
Right.
Then he goes out there. So if you don't know anything about the city of Portland, it is the most bike-friendly big city in America. There are actually bike lanes on every street. There's certain avenues that are painted blue that only bikes can go in. It's fucking stupid with the bikes out here. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is actually one of the cops' personal bikes that the guy is trying to steal. And he's like, "No, he's not taking my bike today."
Dude, I got a triathlon next month.
I wouldn't be. If it was his bike, I'm surprised he didn't tase him.
Right, or maybe he did, and they didn't add that part to it.
Yeah, that part of the video is he probably tased him when he got in the cell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, not too long ago, I saw this video of the cops taking this. Basically, this guy, surrendered. He was not trying to fight against them, but this group of cops grabbed him, dragged him, and because they were on camera, they dragged him down this hallway and turned this corner, and you couldn't hear anything. But then when he comes back, he's bleeding, all bloody, beat the fuck. I'm like, come on, guys. It's fucking obvious.
Right? If he walked around the corner and gets drugged unconscious back, that doesn't look good.
No. And again, you're on fucking camera no matter where you're at.
Like you have cameras on your chest, cops. Like that cop that got caught because his body cam captured him taking money out of the evidence bag and putting it in his own his own bag. There's an evidence bag on the seat, and he's rummaging through it, looking stuff, and then he takes a big wad of cash and puts it in his own duffel bag and zips it up. It's on his body cam, and he tried to say he didn't do it.
Jesus Christ. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why we talk about the dumbing down of the United States.
Right? And that's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I understand. I mean, like, your wife's a teacher, and I have respect for teachers and what they do, but there's a lot of them that are not smart.
Right.
Okay? I'm just saying that. There are lawyers. They've done everything that they needed to do to become a lawyer, but they're not smart people. There's engineers outside of numbers, stupid people. There's doctors, fucking. I almost said that R word because I've met a couple that are you fucking kidding me? You deal with people's lives, but what I'm saying is, like, even though there's a lot of cops that aren't smart. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of them that are, but there's every industry has dumb people, and there are dumb cops, but you don't want to think that there are dumb cops.
Right.
You want to. I know there's a lot of people that just don't give a fuck. All cops suck, but I'm one of those people that want to think that it's like, you know what, they have a hard job, and I want to think that they're emotionally stable enough to make the right decision at the right time.
Right.
But some of them are fucking stupid, and you can't trust that judgment.
Right. Well, it's like, back when I worked for the Devil Company, I had to do membership drives, and I had to do them in schools. And I was out. What school district was it? I want to Gladwin.
Okay.
Gladwin School District. In an elementary school, I'm in the teacher's lounge. They come in for their lunch, you know, I sell them the memberships, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm listening to their conversations. And they're talking about World War II. Basically, what it equates down to is, I mean, I don't remember exactly what they're talking about. It was like something like World War II, but yet they didn't know who Hitler was. Or, you know, they didn't know when the War of 1812 was.
Right.
And I'm just looking at them going, you guys are fucking teaching kids?
Well, we're not history teachers.
Oh, my God. I was just dumbfounded by it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And they weren't joking.
Oh.
You know, they were just, I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking, I don't, no wonder Gladwin has such a poor turnout of intelligent people. You know, when your sister is also your aunt and your grandmother.
Yeah.
There's some problems there. But yeah, so the world today sucks. But you know what? It doesn't suck any more than it ever did before. We just cover it more.
It's all, yeah. It's true, because so going back to the Kobe Bryant thing, you know, there a point that I forgot to say when we were talking about it, because I'm so overloaded emotionally with that topic because everybody's talking about it, is everybody coming out of the woodwork to have an opinion in a story, and it's like what he meant to me, and it's all self-serving.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with a tribute to him. It's like, this is what this is about me. You know, none of this shit's about him. None of this shit's about his father. You know, all of these players that are coming out to do the you know, wear his jersey. It's like, come on, Joel Embiid, what the fuck do you have to do with, you know, you were like 6 when Kobe played, so why the fuck are you wearing his jersey? You know, or you don't even play the same position.
You remember the Shaq and Kobe wars?
Right.
And now Shaq's coming out saying all these nice things about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they could have buried the hatchet afterwards. I don't know, but you know.
But the point is, it's like, I'm watching Super Bowl coverage, and all they're talking about is Kobe Bryant. Like, this is Super Bowl. This is now. I'll say, okay, the Pro Bowl was. I mean, the Pro Bowl sucks anyway. There's nothing redeeming about the Pro Bowl. It's the worst all-star game of all of them. But I mean, for Kobe's they announced that he died at the beginning. I learned that he died from the guys on there talking about it. But now we're full on the super. I mean, obviously, you guys will probably hear this. I'll probably post this on Super Bowl Sunday. But this is the time when all of this shit, we're supposed to be so inundated with the fact that we got the Super Bowl, the teams and the players and all the stupid stories and the prop bets and everything else. It's all supposed to be Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, not. Well, this one time I was in Los Angeles and I had dinner with Kobe Bryant. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I don't need 65 hours of coverage.
Right. Yeah. Really, you think about it. This goes back to the whole Britney Spears media coverage, the Tiger Woods media coverage. What the fuck is the government covering up now?
Right. Exactly.
Because when all you hear about is this, I guarantee you the government is pushing that so they can slide something by you.
Mm-hmm. Just like you talked about with the minimum age for tobacco being risen. Mm-hmm. They slid that right in. People went, what? Wait, when did that happen?
Yeah.
I don't smoke, so it didn't affect me and I didn't give a shit. But I didn't know about it until somebody else told me about it, like after the fact.
Right. Yeah, the whole thing is stupid, but it is what it is. I work in a liquor store. I have to follow the laws because that's a $5,000 fine.
Right.
Not just to the store, but to the clerk as well. Yeah. And that's what these customers don't understand. I'm not paying $5,000 to sell them a $1.05 weed wrap. Oh, because everybody's like buying all these like Swisher Sweet cigar wraps, the cigarellos.
Yeah.
Like they're 2 for 99 cents. Well, then after tax, it's $1.05. But I'm like, so I'm selling these all day long, which, okay, we sold it for $1.05. We made a penny off it because the tobacco company in the state gets the rest of it.
Right.
And so I'm like going, it'd be different if these people came in and bought other things as well, but they're just coming in to buy this shit. So we're not losing any money.
Mm-hmm.
I lost track of where I was going with that. Damn, I had a point to make. I lost it. What were we? Oh, fuck it. Let's go on to my next question. Who are you picking for the Super Bowl?
So this year, obviously, we know is this is the year of Barbara Walters in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It is San Francisco versus Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of insights that I have about it is if Kansas City falls down early in this game like they did in the previous 2 playoff games they will not come back against San Francisco. However, San Francisco only threw the ball 8 times in their last game because their running game was going so well. They will not be able to do that this game because Kansas City's run defense is too stout. So I think the 2 of them, I don't think Kansas City is going to go down early, and I don't think San Francisco is only going to run the ball. So making everything equal, I think Kansas City wins by 14.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty close game, and then Kansas City gets a meaningless touchdown to put it up by 2 scores at the end just to bury San Francisco late. So I think it's a good game up until like the last 2 minutes where Kansas City scores another one after San Francisco couldn't drive down and score. Kansas City will put the game away. It'll be a 14-point game. Who do you think?
I couldn't even tell you a player on either team.
I love it.
I can tell you that Joe Montana played for both teams.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I haven't watched football in probably 2 years.
Oh, right on.
I got so fed up with biased reffing that only goes one way.
Yeah.
Deflating footballs and getting away with it. I just had enough of it. The game became too corrupt for me that I wanted nothing to do with it. I'd rather go watch kids play football.
Yeah.
Because they're playing it because they love the game.
Right. See, I love the college game way more than the professional game. I love college football, the pageantry, and it's yes, it's an internship. Are they student athletes? That's a dumb term. Any it's student athlete is a retarded term. Yes, I said the word retarded. It's a dumb term. I don't like it. Nobody else likes it. Do I think those kids need to be paid? Absolutely not. I don't think they deserve to be paid for playing a kids game at a college when they're getting a free education, a free room and board, and free food and medical service and all these other things that the rest of the student body don't get.
Right.
I don't think that. So I like the college game a lot more, regardless of all that. Because the pro game, I'm sorry, it's just, people complain a bitch because a coach may make $6-7 million a year, but the quarterback's making 35.
Right.
That's it. And I understand there's still somebody making so much money where they can write the check to a person like that. The owners are making so much goddamn money that they can even afford to write a check for $35 million to one person.
Right.
I digress from all that. It's just, to me, the pace of the professional game is too slow for me.
No, because it's constantly going to replays.
It's you have the coin toss commercial. You have a kickoff. Then they tackle them. Then they go to commercial. They come out. They run a couple plays. They go to commercial. Then they punt the ball. They go to commercial. Then they pack so much fucking commercials into the pro game. A pro game should not be 4 hours long, 3.5 to 4 hours long. It should not be.
No.
And they're starting to do that with some of the college games, and it's getting really irritating. But anyway, I love the game of football.
If I had to pick a team, and it would go back to, because when I was young, they were my favorite team, I would have to pick the 49ers.
Yeah.
Yep. I was a huge Joe Montana fan.
Mm.
Joe Montana, Roger Craig, Jerry Rice together, they were fucking unstoppable.
Oh, they had an amazing defense too. You had Bill Romanowski, you had Ronnie Lott. There was some studs on that side of the ball too.
And they always kicked the shit out of Dallas.
Yeah. So I think I've told the story on here before, but I am a New Orleans Saints fan. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I didn't start liking the Saints when Drew Brees came over. I loved them back in the late 80s. And so I told the story that I used to live in Louisiana when I was a child. My dad worked on oil rigs when we were younger, so we moved down there for a couple years. And it was after church one day. No, I didn't throw up this time, but I went into the store with my dad after church, and the store owner was in there, and I think my dad was buying beer to watch the game later on that day, and it was the Super Bowl Sunday, and the store owner, the store clerk, whoever it was like, hey, it's like, if you tell me you're a Saints fan, you can have any candy bar you want in here. So I said, I'm a Saints fan, and I grabbed a Snickers.
You're right.
And I've been a Saints fan ever since. So my allegiance was bought at an early age. I was like 8 or 9.
Right.
And I've been a Saints fan ever since. They bought my allegiance with the Snickers.
And Seth, because you living down there and you being a Saints fan, by proxy, I became a Saints fan.
No, right. Yeah.
I always root for them if they're going against a team that not against a team that I like more, but I used to when I watched football. But you talk about slowing down the game, you forgot the aspect of the Lions game. Oh. They kick off the ball. They go to commercial. They come back from commercial. They run one play. There's a flag. They go to commercial. They come back from commercial, run 2 plays, another flag. They go to commercial. They come back, and somebody on the Lions team breathed wrong. They throw a flag. They go to commercial.
Oh, you forgot the 3 injuries in there, too.
Yeah. And that's all in the first set of 4. That's in 4 downs. Because they went 3 and out.
Right. You have 4 injuries, 6 penalties, and 7 commercials.
Yep, and the game's only
And there's
game time has only been 37 seconds
on the clock.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I can't watch football, because
so people are talking. I was in this group discussion the other day about, it's so great to see Kansas City. They haven't been to a Super Bowl in 50 years. I'm like, wait a minute, slow the fuck down here. Cleveland and Detroit have never been to a Super Bowl. Ever. Right. They've never been to one. Really? Yeah. Detroit and Cleveland have never made it to a Super Bowl. They both have made it to championship games, but they've never actually made it to the Super Bowl.
Detroit did win a championship before they had the Super Bowl.
Yes, and so is Cleveland. They both have won multiple, NFL championships, back in the 50s. They were both great teams in the 50s, early 60s, but by the time the AFC-NFC merger happened and it became the Super Bowl, it just,
Yeah. I hear you. It sucks. But, so, I don't watch any sports anymore.
I watch college basketball college football religiously. I dabble here and there with a little college basketball, not much. I just watch it enough to kind of get to know the feel for some of the teams. So when it comes March, I can do my bracket.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't watch baseball. Hockey is not something that's even on TV out here.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't watched a Red Wings game in years.
Yeah.
I think the last Red Wings game I watched was when my parents came out here and I had to use a streaming service so that they could actually watch the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I haven't watched. I mean, if I was going to watch a sport now, it would probably be hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only one that entertains me.
Yeah.
The rest of them are just boring. Hockey's fast-paced, a lot of hitting, a lot of speed, puck flying everywhere.
There's
a lot of finesse and grace.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's why I love that mixture of the gracefulness and the violence of hockey.
Mm-hmm.
There's a beauty to it.
Yeah, and I know Don Cherry got into some trouble and he got fired recently, but Don Cherry had a great argument about the reason why we have fights in hockey and why they cannot take away fighting in hockey. It's a way, and I'll explain how he puts it. It is a way for men who are with raised emotions and high testosterone to be able to get their aggressions out without doing something stupid with a weapon in their hand. Right. Everybody saw Marty McSorley when he took that cheap shot to the back. I forgot the guy's name that he hit years ago. He blindsided a guy in the back of the head with his hockey stick, and he actually got like a 40-game suspension, which was the rest of the year. And he was looking at criminal charges for it.
Todd Bertuzzi, same thing.
Yeah. Exactly the same thing. But that's why there's fighting in hockey, because then they get 3 or 4 good punches to each one, then they go calm down in the box for 5 minutes.
Right.
And then they don't have stupid incidents like that, because you don't have a weapon in your hands in any other sport, with the exception of maybe a pitcher in baseball.
Or the batter.
Yeah. You really have to be fucking stupid to chase somebody down with a baseball bat.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like basketball, I mean, Kobe, like I said, Kobe liked to throw the elbows. He learned that from Jordan. But yeah, football, I mean, people would cleat each other in a pile-up or pinch each other and do punch each other in the pile-ups. But
and earlier this year, we had a guy rip the helmet off a player and try to beat him with it.
Nice.
That happened earlier this year.
You remember?
He got suspended for the rest of the year.
You remember the stories about Ty Cobb, though, and the way he would slide in a base and cleat people?
With his cleats up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, so yeah, I'm with Don Cherry on that one. I think fighting should be allowed in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Because those sticks are fucking hard. I've been hit by one before. They hurt.
Yeah, and they have to use wood in the NHL, but in college they can use the carbon fiber ones.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you can't fight in college, but you have full face masks in college, so it's stupid to fight anyway. It's just like fighting in a football game. You're not going to hurt anybody.
Right. But yeah, I mean, so if I was going to watch a sport, it'd probably be hockey.
I respect that.
I mean, it was a couple weeks ago. We were playing D&D, and my friend's kid who plays with us was watching it on his phone. I was up walking around just to stretch my legs, and so I started watching on his phone. So I'm like, oh, I kind of missed that. Guy made a sweet ass goal. I was like, oh, that was awesome.
Nice.
I miss playing it too.
Yeah.
I used to play on a roller hockey league and, a bunch of other shit. I mean, on rollerblades, I could do a hockey stop. Like they do on ice skates.
Right.
When I got to that level, I was pretty impressed with myself.
I would have broke both ankles.
I could never skate backwards till I started playing hockey. And then it was just easy.
Nice.
But I was a little bit of what you'd call a cheap player.
A cheap player?
Yeah, because I always knew where the refs were.
Gotcha.
So at one point, the puck was dumped. So this guy and I are racing for the puck. And the ref is down at that end. He's watching us race. And we're going, and this guy's on roller skates, not on rollerblades. So I've got the advantage already.
Right.
And I've got more speed than him built up.
You're fighting Dazzler at that point.
Right. But he's like trying to kind of grabbing at me and stuff. So I'm watching the ref as we're racing out.
It wasn't Dazzler?
Yeah. So he's like tugging on me. I'm watching the ref, and the ref's looking at us, and the ref looks the other way, and bam, right into the wall he went, and I kept going.
Nice.
I just waited for him to look away.
I had my cheap moves in football too. So there's a rip move where you take your arm when you're coming through it. It's a defensive move where you basically punch your arm underneath their arm and lift it up so that you can get underneath it. And then there's a swim move where you take your off arm and slap their arm down and take your other arm and go over their shoulder pads, and then you hook your elbow on the backside of it, and then you can throw yourself forward.
Right.
I used to do kind of a combination rip move, swim move, but the rip move was I would come through and I would punch them in the kidney, and then I would slap the back of their shoulder pads with my offhand, and then come over with a swim move. So they were stunned by the punch, and then I could throw myself through the line.
Right.
And I could get away with that, usually once or twice in the beginning of the thing, and then they would start complaining to the refs, and then I'd start getting watched.
Right. Yeah, see, another move I was really good at was, like, I've got the puck, I'm going down, somebody's behind me, and I can feel their stick go between my legs trying to get at the puck.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I saw the stick between my legs, I would basically bring my legs together and turn and then fall.
Oh, it's like
it ripped the stick right out of their hands. Whistle would blow. They go to the penalty box every time.
Nice.
Yeah. So, with that being said, today's episode is about abso-fucking-lutely nothing.
This is just about Craig and I just needing to just a chat. We
right.
need to talk.
Right.
With an audience.
Right. So, yeah, to sum it up, we talked about this, we talked about that, we talked about this, y'all.
Yeah. I couldn't have said it better.
Right.
So what I'm going to say is insert tagline here, or just insert episode here.
Right. And I don't feel like saying my number one, so bye, fuckers.